Rob, one would have to say as well then, looking at the back line, as long as there aren't any injuries, that this is pretty much this is like a World Cup final type back line. Fly half and fullback, do those look like the sort of the top picks? Andre Pollard and Pat Lambie at number 10, they've sort of been dovetailing each other quite a bit of late.
Yes, I think this very much is the sort of the intended first team Bok backline. It's a backline that before the tournament people had speculated about would be the dream sort of backline, and here it is out in force at St James's Park on what looks like being another corker of a day. We're all sort of reveling in sort of very nice sunny mild weather up here. I didn't think it was possible in Newcastle, but it's been quite superb, and it's going to be it looks as though it's going to be a dry, firm, fast pitch. So a great opportunity for this Bok backline to really sort of click into gear. Remember that the Scots also play a fairly fluid, up-tempo brand of rugby, so you could see a pretty fast-paced and quite easy on the eye sort of game, even if the Springboks will only, I think, resort to any sort of backline flash, if you like, once they've done the sort of hard grunt up front, and played more of a sort of territory possession, patient energy sapping type game, if you like. But the scope is there for what could be a really, really good game of rugby on Saturday.
Rob, and the Scots due to announce their team later today. You're going to, of course, head over to that press conference. What kind of a team can we expect them to announce? Do you think some of the South African-born players are going to feature?
Yeah, well, there was a lot made at the Springbok press conference about these Afrikaans speakers in the Scottish team, which of course puts a spanner in the works of Bok line-out calls, and sort of secret strategies and so on and so forth. Remember, of course, that the Boks have a couple of Scottish insiders in their camp as well. Like Richie Gray, the backline, the breakdown specialist rather, is a sort of a Scot who can give the Springboks some insight into sort of Scottish ways and thinking. Yes, a lot made about, for instance, I mean, VP Nel, we know the Lourisfontein-born tight head prop, who's now VP McNell basically for Scotland. He's been part of Springbok training camps. Heineke Meyer reminded us all of that. So he was given sort of a dossier, if you like, a couple of years ago of sort of Springbok strategies, calls, and so on. So the Boks apparently have had to change completely a lot of their calls and their codes, which will make things quite interesting on the day. And I think some of the chirps will be taking place in a multitude of languages on the St James's Park pitch on Saturday. Interesting, of course, to see whether Josh Strauss makes it into the starting side. At worst, I think he will be part of the matchday squad. So he, of course, another South African element, plotting to cause mayhem in the Bok midst. But I think VPNL is a sort of a special danger because he's very much in form, apparently scrumming very well, carrying the ball very well too, and would love to sort of put one over a team that he potentially might have been in the running for a couple of years ago, but of course has subsequently thrown his cap into the Scottish ring and patiently gone through the qualification process.
And Rob, finally, just give us a sense of the atmosphere there. And the northeast of England is very much football country. What's it like at the moment?
Yeah, it's building up. There's lots of World Cup signage all over the city. I wouldn't say it's sort of a buzz with rugby talk. I mean, this is still very much a football city. And as a Newcastle supporter myself, I've been painfully, acutely aware that a lot of the public here are talking with despondency about the fact that Newcastle have picked up, I think it's 3 points out of 21 so far in the Premiership season, and lie second from bottom on the table. The only happy development being that near neighbours Sunderland are the team at the bottom, and that's been one source of good cheer to the Geordie faithful. But rugby fever slowly mounting. Springbok fans haven't yet poured in. They tend to do that, perhaps just the day before. A lot of them will spend a lot of time around London and then get the train up or whatever other method of transport the day before the game, or even on the Saturday morning, make their way into Newcastle. But plenty of signage down at the riverside, on the Tyne, in the streets. So you are getting plenty of awareness of World Cup rugby, and quite a few of the sort of more sort of soccer-orientated scribes up here are also sort of have turned their hands a little bit to rugby and showing a bit of curiosity in the Springboks. And Heineke Meyer has spoken obviously quite kindly about his experiences up in the northeast. And I think as much as anything, as I say, the Boks just enjoying the fact that the weather up here isn't as grim as it's supposed to normally be.
Of course, Heineke Meyer coached the Leicester Tigers for a while, so he's probably quite familiar with this sort of culture.
Yes, absolutely. You know, that is an important point, actually. The fact that he is pretty immersed in English rugby, which gives him a little bit of a sort of an inside lane in terms of especially some of the Six Nations sides. You know, as we know, a lot of the Six Nations players, even there are plenty of Scots and Welsh, for instance, who play in the English league. So he's got plenty of intelligence about, I would think, some of the Scottish players directly who will be playing against the Boks this weekend from his time at Leicester, and from knowing what it takes to play good rugby and winning rugby under European conditions. Although, as I say, we're not even talking European conditions. The conditions have been absolutely perfect for the last week or so, and look like holding quite sort of convincingly for the weekend.
Great, Rob. Thanks very much again for your time, and yeah, we'll touch base again soon.
Thanks, Nick.
Cheers.